Hello, this is John with Brainstorm Comics and Gaming, and this is this week's Turning the Page. I am joined this week by Chris from Russia with Love. I know you had heard it earlier today.
Yep.
I got to give the people what they want. You know, people are coming in giving me intros for you
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I know that makes you very happy.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah. It's fun.
I believe your response to him was somehow I brought it on myself.
Yeah, I don't know how I did. I'm
I don't
still
know
trying
how
to
I
figure
did,
that out, but I did, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. This week was a very big week for comics. After several kind of slower weeks, it seems like I'm not gonna say the paper shortage is over, but it seems like at least they had some backlog of stuff to get out to
I found some reams in the back of a warehouse somewhere.
maybe they're decided to take away all the paper from Rob Liefeld and
Sure. Boom found some extra foil somewhere.
maybe. Anyway, so we have 5 topics and then also best Wednesday ever. Before we begin, though, let's not forget to ask everyone to like, comment, and subscribe to your LCS, Brainstorm Comics and Gaming. The YouTube channel, I think, is up to like 226 subscribers. We're hoping to get to 250 by the end of the year, so we have 24 more to go over the next 2 months. Hopefully we get there. And then also don't forget to start a subscription with Brainstorm Comics and Gaming if you haven't done that already. I know you like to talk about how we have some of the best discounts for subscribers, 20% off on new comics, 20% off on graphic novels, 20% off on back issues, 10% off on graded books, 10% off on board games. And we have some cool things coming up for board games here in the near future. And in addition to the board game thing, we are going to do a GoFundMe for some of the things we want to do. It's going to be a little pricey for everything we want to do, so keep an eye out for that. Your support will be greatly appreciated for that as well. We're planning on doing some cool incentives for people to give money as well, but we will get to that at a later time. Let's get into our topics today, though. So we're going to talk about Penguin Random House, 2 of the things that they've done. We're going to talk about Diamond Comics, them purchasing another company. We're going to talk about what we would do if we were putting together the perfect Blade creative team. I know I threw that one at you at the last minute, so you're very...
7 minutes ago.
We will also talk about Image and their decision about multiple printings. And then, of course, like I said, we'll talk about the best Wednesday ever. So let's get started. We'll start off with the first one. You know, was it 3 weeks ago? Penguin Random House was getting blasted pretty hard by retailers up and down the line.
Sure.
For their shipping practices. They remedied that very quickly, though. The following week, they had double boxed everything. They almost went in the opposite direction and overdid everything.
I think they had to. I didn't think they had much of a choice.
Yeah. Well, my thing is, I do feel sorry for them because it is free shipping for us. I think they can fit 2 of those boxes and one of those larger ones.
Probably.
And,
I mean, there were stores that got like no undamaged like comics in an entire week's shipment. Like every book was damaged.
yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah,
So-
they had to do something. There
No,
was
I
no
agree
way
that they had to
were
do
gonna
something, but I
survive.
feel like they've gone. Like, did you see this? Oh, I don't think you were here for this. No, because your car had broken down. So there's like 5 layers of bubble wrap around a single box inside a box like 4
here for
times
it.
the size
Here
of
for it. Let's kill the environment, but save the comics, man.
Save the Comics. So I do give them credit for listening to the retailers and everything, though.
They
They were very
responded.
responsive, very
Sure.
quick.
Sure.
A lot of times, you know, all retailers want to do is complain about the things going on. They don't give credit where it's deserved in terms of things like that. So I give them big kudos on that. I think that they answered it. I do think they can pull back a little bit in terms of how they did it, but
Maybe they will, but don't complain too much.
no,
you know?
no, I'm not complaining about it. Like, I'm just saying that I don't want them to have exceedingly high shipping costs either, because in the end, that's going to come back on the retailers at some point. Like,
Well, yeah. Just be thankful you're not getting damaged books. That's
I am thankful for that. So, like I said, good thing for them. And I don't know if you have anything further to say about.
no, I mean, yeah, good for them for going so quickly.
I know a lot of people complain about Diamond not being responsive to some of the complaints and stuff.
I
but
mean, you know, big companies.
Well, they also had no competition, so they had no incentive.
No, yeah, there was no, it was just like you dealt with it, or where else were you going to go? So.
And then, so we'll turn the page on that one, but we will stay in the same venue with Penguin Random House. Now, I know you don't know about the inner workings of this. I haven't really seen anybody talking about this.
We about to like break out some trade secrets or something right now?
Not really.
We spilling the beans?
So Penguin Random House, for their ordering system, initially I was having a lot of issues with it. Whenever you would adjust one title, it would take anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds for it to move to the cart. So it made ordering 20 books take an hour and a half, which is normally something like a 20-minute endeavor for me. It was really annoying and really bothersome. And again, Penguin Random House showing that they're being very responsive to retailers. Apparently other retailers were complaining about that. They have adjusted it to where you can add multiple things to the cart at one time. So you go ahead and make all of your adjustments, and then you add it to the cart, and then it takes like 15 seconds that one time, and then you finish out your order and make your adjustments as you want at that point. So again, I give them big credit for that. Normally doing coding and stuff for your website, a lot of bigger companies take forever. I worked for 2 banks, and both of them, whenever they were rolling out programs, like there were a lot of problems whenever they were rolling out new things like that, even minor adjustments to the so I know it doesn't affect you directly, but
as a consumer, that's all that behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, but I give them big credit on that, big kudos on that.
Sure.
It's not often that, like I said, a big company makes those sort of adjustments that quickly.
So I guess the real question is, are you going to take back like half the bad things you said about them when it first all started?
We'll see.
Yeah?
We'll see.
Oh. Maybe we'll get a retraction from John?
No.
No?
No, they deserved it at that point.
Okay. All right.
But like I said, I do feel like they deserve credit for the things that they have done. I'm not used to a distributor being that responsive.
Sure.
To
I guess pats on backs deserved. Get pats on backs.
Yeah.
Go Penguin Random.
And like I said, I feel like the comic industry is generally pretty negative a lot of the times. They don't. Whenever things do go well, it's more like
nobody talks about it when it's going well.
Exactly.
Sure.
You don't agree with that?
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some fuddy-duddies out there for sure.
Yeah.
I could be accused of being that at times. I feel like. No, I mean, it's a good thing. I don't know how much like the consumer
sees that,
but you know.
Well, going back to the shipping thing, you said you're on a lot of the Facebook groups also. There was the one guy complaining. Well, he was asking. I won't say he was complaining. He was asking like what other people would do if their LCS continually gave them damaged comics, and I didn't understand the question because I was like, as a retailer, you're allowed to return the damages in exchange for.
Yeah, but I mean that also takes time. If you get like a whole shipment, you know, a whole week's worth of books and they're all damaged, you know, what are you gonna do? You're gonna lose sales for a week? I mean, you got to do something.
Yeah.
So I feel like they need to be accountable to those.
Well, he was saying like every week it's damaged copies from his LCS. That's why I was saying that's kind of odd to me.
Yeah, it's super odd. I would probably just find another LCS or another way to get books. If you're getting damaged books every week, then what's the...
And the thing is, like, sometimes things are... Like, when I pulled your books out today, I was like, hey, you may want to change this one out. I didn't notice it, but there's a color rub on this one.
Sure, I pulled a couple of Harley books last week that had really gnarly rolls in them. Luckily, they were fixed in pressing. But yeah, so I mean, it happens. Anytime you're ordering any kind of volume or something like that, you're dealing with an item that's paper. Things are going to happen.
And the way it's shipped. Like,
and the way it's shipped.
As much as people think like these things are shipped in like...
They're not. It's a cardboard box. The same stuff you get your Amazon orders in is the same stuff comic books come in. But yeah, I mean, if I was going to a store and they were continually giving me damaged books, I would probably find another store to go to.
I almost question, well, like, are they doing it on purpose? Or are you doing something to annoy them?
Yeah, like that's kind of weird. Are they like? I mean, I would maybe say something. You know what I mean? Like, what's up with this?
That's what some of the people suggested. They were like,
yeah,
talk to them first and see if there's something going on. Or
yeah, I mean, maybe they're just not paying attention. But if you're, I mean, and also what is a damaged book? You know what I mean? If it's something like...
That's true. Because, I mean, we have some people who are hardcore collectors and they want pristine copies. And some books that I think are pristine, they'll go, hey, can I get another copy of this?
Sure,
They see something on it that they don't like,
Right.
and that's fine.
So if you're only accepting 9/8 and higher as your, you know what I mean, then what is your version of a damaged book?
Yeah, and then we have other readers, and I know the one made your head explode.
That day still gives me nightmares.
When he like dangled his book.
Oh, it wasn't even dangled. That man did bad things to that book.
Because we were talking about how
Yeah.
how some people are very particular.
He was proving a point, and he proved it.
He's just a reader. I respect that.
And that's totally
I mean,
fine, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any less of him. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
We still talk when he comes in. It just definitely made me feel bad. But that's on me.
Yeah. Well, you two are very different in the way you collect. Like I
Sure.
said, he is simply a reader. He just wants the entertainment for like that 10 minutes and everything, and 15 minutes, whatever it is. And there's some people who are like,
I just have to justify the amount of money I spend on it by like saying and thinking that I might get some of that money back out of it one day. That's where my head's at with it.
I got you. So we'll turn the page on that topic, and I'm sure we'll talk about Penguin Random House in the future. And
Let's hope
hopefully,
not.
hopefully it's more positive
I hope
things.
they're just,
Hopefully it's more positive things. I'm not saying in a negative way.
it's just a
Hopefully,
thing that happens and we,
we'll see.
Okay.
So let's move on to topic number 3. Diamond, speaking of other distributors, is expanding their game. They're getting into the grading industry.
Mm-hmm.
They have bought Collectible Grading Authority. They are a grading company which, crazily enough, grades almost everything but comics. And they grade action figures, video games, die-cast, collectible dolls. I would be shocked if they don't get into the...
I mean, I feel like that's kind of a conflict of interest. I mean, it is kind of even now because Diamond sells.
You want to talk about how other grading companies are getting into auctions?
I mean, we can dive down that rabbit hole, but
Well, Diamond also sells toys, and Diamond
Sure.
also sells action figures, and they sell dolls, and they sell die-casts. All that is in previews every single month.
Sure.
So,
you can also get graded books from Diamond now.
yes.
You can get signed and graded books from them. I think it's
They also own Hakes Auctions, which I did not know.
right. I mean, it's the whole grading thing is very weird, and
I wouldn't mind a third company being. Well, I know it would be a
I mean,
fourth.
technically there is a third company. It's like the Voldemort of grading for some reason. Not really sure why. I mean, grading is so subjective, and grading is so weird right now.
Steve Jeppy knows a lot of people in the industry who could do the grading company from like a high end level also.
Sure. I mean, technically, we could make a grading company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nobody would trust.
Nobody would, but
But I'm saying he knows like experts.
Sure. Because I mean, at the essence of it, you are sending your collectible, your book, your whatever, to a person who is looking at it and checking off a list or whatever of defects and adding and subtracting numbers to get a final number, but it is still literally just a person, supposedly.
We watched the video this week that
the video blew my mind, and I think what blew my mind was that it made sense. That's how far it's gotten. So the example that he was using was a Hulk 181. And a 9.8 Hulk 81 is like 40K or something like that. A 9.6 181 is like 16 or 18K. So what he was saying was the move would be to buy the 9.6, yank it, press it, send it back in, and continue to send it back in until you get a 9.8, which he said he had done. He's seen it done plenty of times. Apparently, like that's the thing now is you just keep resending these books. Now, it does cost a bunch of money to do that, but when you're looking at the savings of
$24,000,
$20,000 to $24,000, no, so it makes sense. So that kind of calls into question why is there so much weight put on a graded book versus a raw book?
Well, so much weight put on a 9.8 versus a 9.6 also.
Right.
Now,
and let's not even talk about 9.2s and 9.4s because they're basically irrelevant now. Like you don't that's.
Unless you're talking about something older than like 1980.
Sure, but like if you get a new book and it comes back a 9.2 or a 9.4, it's like your heart's crushed. Why? It's still a near mint copy. But because it's not a 9.8 or a 9.6, it's worthless now, which is it's crazy to me how big and inflated and.
So I've always found it weird that we have 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, 9.8, but we don't have 8.2, 8.4, 8.6.
It's like 8, 8.5, 7,
Yeah.
7.5, 6. Yeah.
So surely there's gradations even within.
Right. Why isn't there a 9.9 or
There is a 9.9.
Or there, yeah, but why don't
There's
you
not a
see a
9.7.
9.9?
There's not a
Why don't you see a
9.7
9.7 or a 9.1? Like it's just the grading scale it just doesn't make any sense, and we keep just feeding these giant companies all of this money. The whole collecting industry is runs on it. It's based on it now, and it's scary that.
Well, the video even went so far as to say like he was angry he got back a 9.8.
Yeah, because it wasn't a 9.8. He said he pointed out every defect on that book and was like, "No, this is not a 9.8 book. It came back a 9.8." I mean, we saw it with that Batman book that you sent. That book was not what they graded it at. I can't.
Well, that one they graded at a 9.2.
Right, and it should have been a 9.8. There's nothing wrong with that book.
Still saying.
There's no, I mean, unless there was something interior that we didn't see, there is zero. There is nothing wrong with that book. And the grader's notes were rounded corners. It just. There's just so much. I've seen it before multiple times. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, sometimes you get back the wrong book. Not us. We have not had that happen to us, thankfully. But
Wrong books, lost books, damaged books, stuff damaged in shipping,
plastic pieces and
and stuff coming dislodged from the inside.
They're under a lot of stress right now with how many books they are getting due to the money involved in the.
Sure, because somewhere along the lines, everyone got it in their heads that you have to slab every book you get because that's what is expected of you.
That's the crazy thing. So when I go on eBay and look up prices of stuff, it's funny to me when I see like all of the books from this week already pre-selling as 9.8s, like for grading, and I'm like, and when I say every book, I mean every book, no matter how worthless, no matter like, I don't mean worthless in terms of like a reading experience. I mean worthless in terms of like being able to turn it into like something like. And like they sell them for like $50 or whatever, and I'm like, so you took this $4 book and you turn it into and people buy it. I don't know. It confuses me. Like,
I mean, eventually the current books now are going to become the Bronze Age, Silver Age, Golden Age books. You know what I mean? So these books one day will probably have more value than they do now. That's a very long-term investment. So I see the validity of grading and slabbing your books, but at the same time, like,
well, the part I'm talking about is just taking every book off the rack,
right? And you're also sending them to companies that have interests in that part of the industry. So if they are driving the sales up and driving the resale market, then they're feeding their own monster, which is becoming a bigger monster that we're inadvertently making. You know what I mean? It's
I don't know if you remember, but there was a couple of years ago. I forget which company that people were accusing it of it. And I'm not going to say because it was just an accusation. It wasn't anything that was.
Well, now we're not going to name names.
Ever confirmed. Like I said, I don't even remember which company they were saying it was, but they're saying one of the companies was giving out 9.8s like candy on Halloween because they wanted people to use them more. So they were like, oh, if we give out 9.8s, people will sell more.
This is Oprah, 9.8 for you, a 9.8 for you. And the original point of that video was that 9.8s are going to become worthless because if everything is a 9.8, then it's just worthless.
Not just that, people don't trust it.
Right.
If you can look at it and go, well, this is clearly not a 9.8, like
sure.
So it goes back to the PGX thing. We'll go back to the PGX thing. You said you don't know why they're looked at as.
I know why they are looked at, but the things that people cite for PGX not
were
being
10 years ago.
Were exactly, they were 10 years ago. It's also the same things that CBCS and CGC have done and been accused of doing before, but for some reason, because they are a bigger company, it doesn't stick.
Yeah. It's the same thing with politics and stuff also, though. I mean, a third-party candidate, things stick harder to them than to us.
Sure. It's like everyone just wants two choices with everything. You Coke or Pepsi or CBCS, CGC. Like, you can't have a third option. That third option is always going to be terrible. It just doesn't make any sense to me. PGX has always had better pricing. They've always had faster turnaround. I mean, whatever happened with sketchy books and sketchy grading is whatever, but both of the other companies have done it too.
So I can't accuse anybody of anything, but PGX was one of the accusations against PGX was that they were giving their friends and families like higher grades than what they deserved, and selling them the books and things like that. That's not the thing that really pushed collectors away from them, though. The thing that pushed them away from them was that guy who cut the video about his TMNT, and he said it was a third printing, and I don't know. I think I've told you before. The book leaves the video screen at one point, and like, I'm not saying the guy faked it. I'm just saying whenever anything leaves a video screen, I get a little more like...
Right. And it also boils down to label, too, a lot. With, I like the font on these, but these labels look better. It's a piece of paper with some words on it.
Somehow we got way off what we were talking about. But anyway, so, okay, we'll bring up another...
But I mean, it all goes into this whole, these companies that are supplying this are now... But that's why investing in the things that make the value of it.
But that's why I think Diamond getting into grading, if they get into the comic book, it'll be a good thing. I don't think it'll be a bad thing. I think they have a lot of ground to make up, and I think that, thankfully Steve Jeppy does have contacts within the industry that will help give him name recognition and also help him get out there. If he chooses to go that route, maybe he just decides like what we're doing is
maybe it opens up avenues to have graded signed books through them. I know somebody posted one of those King Spawn variants, and I guess there was like an allotted time that you had to send that book into CGC,
the 1 in 250,
right, to get your yellow label, even though it was witnessed and it came and all that jazz. And the guy was selling a book, and he's like, I know it's past the time and you can't get a yellow label, and people were like, who wants it now? It's crazy. So the same thing, just because it passed a arbitrary date, it just doesn't. I don't know, that whole avenue of collecting doesn't make any sense to me.
Sticking with CGC for a second, you said you were shocked when I told you this. Because you said you like the custom labels. You're like, oh, that's so cool.
I mean, I thought it was like a neat little thing to add something to just the piece of paper that has some text on it. Like, you put a little picture on it now.
And then I told you, apparently, those are limited edition labels.
Sure, of course they're limited edition labels.
They're only good. I think they're only available for like a year or two.
Of course they are.
And what was your reaction to that?
I don't even remember. It was early in the morning and we were driving. Of course they are. Of course they're limited. Why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they?
And some people were arguing that those will be worth more because there are only X amount of copies of that label.
Right.
And then so you're going to add a premium for a 25 cent. This is what blows my mind. People are willing to pay extra for that 25-cent label.
Right. It's literally a piece of paper.
I know you paid $20 for it, but let's be honest. It's a 25-cent label.
Yep. 100%.
I don't understand the custom label thing. I think I've told you this before.
I think it's visually a nice thing, but now that I found out that it's like some limited edition, like I'm not. Yeah, that's crazy. That's just wild right now. Out of control. The whole thing is out of control.
Yeah, I've told you I prefer CBCS, not because I think like they're better at grading or anything. I just think they're faster. I like their price point better, and I don't have to join a membership with them in order to submit at a cheaper rate. So.
Sure. Maybe Diamond will jump in and you can.
That's true. Maybe they'll be like, hey, if you have an account with us, I like that thinking. Let's pass it along. All right, let's move on to topic number 4. Image announced that if you want a book coming out, you better grab it when the first printing is out there, because there's not going to be a second, third, or fourth. They said due to paper shortages, they are getting rid of the multiple printings for the foreseeable future.
Good.
And your thoughts on that are?
Great. I think I said woohoo. That's awesome.
Unlike Boom, who is doing another printing of Something Is Killing the Children. Although those are David Mack covers, look beautiful. I don't know if you saw them or not. But
they are super duper nice. Broke my heart. And they're also selling Boom exclusive covers today. Mm-hmm. So in the back of House of Slaughter, they list all of the store exclusive books. There's over 30 of them.
Okay.
Plus the 10 regular variants that came out, plus the A, B, and C cover. And now you've got, it was at least 2 or 3 more. So you now have 50 different covers of this one book. And it's already in the second printing. And the second printing
during a paper shortage.
During a paper shortage. And the second printing that was announced before the first printing even came out now has
along with the the local comic book day.
Yes. I'm sure they're going to sneak a store exclusive thank you in there too. That'll show up. So the second printing has like 3 or 4 different covers for it now too. you're this happened before. I mean, maybe people don't remember. Maybe they were too young to remember. It happened in the 90s when the comic book companies were doing this wild stuff. They got super greedy, and it killed the market and almost killed comic collecting. Many stores went out of business.
It did for a while.
It did. Prices tanked. It literally almost killed the comic book industry, and now we're creeping back up to that. And it's not even just Boom. Boom is they do it, but they do it with style. Their books are done really nice. They do the full covers.
Boom and
stuff
Marvel
like
are the
that.
two most guilty.
But Boom and Marvel are super duper guilty of it.
DC normally only does like maybe 4 at the most of a book, which is still I think too many. But I don't even like that DC always does an A and a B cover. I don't think every book deserves an A and a B cover.
It might not. But I think anything that is going to stop them from printing 1 million copies of each book and just flooding the market and killing any kind of resale collectible value of something is good. It also will make people pay attention. If there's something you want, you should probably actively search it to get it before it's sold out.
But going back to the Image one, you have to get it that week that it comes out. Which probably, I will say, if you're a speculator, this is probably a good thing for you. I would definitely start popping on all those Image first.
Because you never know.
Issues that come out.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, when Saga hit big and everything, there weren't they did do the multiple printings, but they didn't have multiple covers or anything.
Walking Dead is a prime example. That book had such a small print run for the first issue.
Yeah, but they used to steer away from all that stuff, and I think that's when they really started finding their footing. And then I've even told you that they even said before they weren't going to get to the variant cover game, which they ended up doing also.
I mean, I think not doing any variants is kind of unrealistic in a company that size that does that many
also
different
in this market
books.
right now.
And in this market, yeah. But you don't have to go ham with the variants. Also, at some point, you're sacrificing quality. Like, yes, there are 1 million cover artists out there. It doesn't mean all 1 million of them are great and are going to make a great cover. I'll
be honest with you. One of the things, and I think I may have said this last time, I forget, but for the Image 30th anniversary thing, I wish that they would go even further into independence and grab like artists and writers that have smaller books and
to start rating DeviantArt or whatever.
Get them to do covers and stuff. You said that was one of the things that you liked about the Todd McFarlane interview.
It was super cool the way he talked about that.
On a YouTube channel I won't talk about.
Right. How he literally just messages people from those sites like, hey, and he said it's the same thing. It's the same spiel. Like, hey, it's Todd McFarlane. I like your stuff. I want you to draw a Spawn cover. I think it'd be awesome. Yeah. Draw me a great cover. I think that's great. Although I don't read Spawn because it's not my thing. The integrity of that and trying to keep fresh people coming in. And
that's what Image was all about.
Sure. I think that's super cool, and I like that they're not going to be doing a bunch of different printings. Honestly,
yeah.
I think it's good.
I think it's good for the market. I think it's good for
the market.
I think it's good for their titles. I think, like I said, it also will make retailers order a little more generously on their titles.
You would think, yeah.
Or miss out on the
now. If it's cool if they're not going to do second and third print runs, but if they're going to make every first print run 1 million books, then it doesn't make any sense.
Well, they don't do that. So Diamond. So you have to remember, Diamond is the one that orders all those books,
right.
And normally I think Diamond orders like a 10%. I think it used to be a 10% overage just in case of damages, and also in case of. Now, obviously, if you're on issue 50, it's probably not 10%. It's probably close to like 3 or 4%, unless it's like unless they got some advanced word from the publisher, like, hey, X, Y, or Z is going to be in this. You may want to.
But I think that's also maybe an incentive for people to pick up a number one issue that they see from, because there are weeks where there are a lot of number ones from independents and Image especially, and if you know that something is probably going to come in a second or third print if it's hot, then maybe you're not going to pick that book up if you don't want to super take a chance on it. But if you know there isn't going to be another printing, and if it looks kind of interesting, then maybe you're going to pull the trigger on it just to have it.
Well, I take a lot of risk on a lot of books I have big expectations for. Sometimes they pay off, sometimes they don't. We'll see.
Sometimes.
There's like 3 books this week that I took a big risk on, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We'll see. I have high hopes for him. We'll turn the page on that topic, though, and we'll go into topic number 5.
I hate when you're all mysterious like that, because then it makes me try to figure out what they are. I don't like that.
You were here. I was. Oh, no, you weren't here. Never mind.
It's been a long week, John. It's only Wednesday, and it's been a long week. Feels like Friday.
Let it be Friday.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Topic number 5. This is the one I threw at you at the last minute.
You pitched it literally. I was like reading too while you pitched it to me. Yeah.
So Blade has a one-shot this week, Darkhold Blade.
The Darkhold Blade, yeah.
So
which I forgot to pick up, by the way. I was so flustered this morning. I forgot so many books. I have to go back out. Okay.
Another customer and I were discussing, Blade needs his own ongoing. If you were putting together the perfect Blade ongoing team, who would you put together?
I know your answer already, and we're going to argue about it. So, man, it's super tough. Colin Bunn to write it. I think Colin Bunn does enough horror books and enough
writer on the
weird superhero stuff. Like the Shadow Man run that he just did was really cool, and that's kind of in that same vein. I think he could write it really good. And then I'm gonna butcher his name, and it's terrible, but I love his art. He's on Daredevil now.
Marco Cicchetto.
I'm gonna let you butcher it, and I'm just gonna agree. I think his style would fit really well with it.
What about Jorge Corona?
I think Jorge Corona. I love his artwork.
He did Feathers, and Feathers was kind of dark.
But I think that Blade needs that
Mike Mignola.
Nah, it's not. No, stop putting words in my mouth. This is my choice. No, he needs
I know you love Mike Mignola.
I do love Mignola, but I don't think he'd be good for Blade. Okay. He's great for Hellboy. He's not good for Blade. I think he needs that superhero 90s. You know what I mean? He need Blade comics need that.
Yeah.
They don't need independent style artwork. Even though I love, Me You Love in the Dark, that it's perfect for that. It's not perfect for Blade. If he drew that book, I wouldn't read it.
Yeah, you would.
No, I would. You're right.
A liar.
You're right.
You said you're going to buy the DC title, even though the audience is clearly not you.
I know. Let me have it, though. Let me have my...
Oh, you're right. You would never buy it.
Never. Thank you. Thank you.
So for the artist I would put on there, I would go with somebody like Jamal Campbell. I like Jamal Campbell's art a lot. I think he has the potential to be a superstar artist. I think he's already on his way to being that. And then
for the folks out there, what is he on now?
He was on Naomi, and I don't know what he's doing right now.
Did Naomi end?
Yeah, it was the 6th issue.
Yeah, the art in that was gorgeous.
So like I said, that's who I would put on that one. And then the writer, I know, is the one that you said you would. I would go the Marvel Knights route when Joe Quesada went outside of the industry to reinvigorate a character, and I would bring in Jordan Peele to write Blade and try and do that. Go on.
No, it's your pick. I'm not gonna.
No, you said you had things to say,
but it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
You don't make any sense.
I don't sometimes. No, you're right. No, I don't see that at all.
Why?
I don't. If Jordan Peele got put on a Blade book, I would not read it. I don't care who drew it.
You're a liar.
No, I'm not. I would boycott it. No, I'm not. I'm not that big of a fan of his work, honestly.
No?
Nope. I've seen his films. I know there's a lot of hype behind him. I am not a huge fan of his work.
So my thing is, he would clearly bring in interest from outside of the industry.
I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to make someone come in and buy a Blade comic that didn't read comics just because Jordan Peele was on it.
So we had people coming in when Ta-Nehisi Coates was writing, started off on Black Panther. Now, I'm not going to lie, he ended up being no offense to people, but he ended up being a very bad comic book writer. A lot of people who were looking forward to it were there the guy's boring, he doesn't know how to write comics, which is not his fault. Marvel should have given him more, either a mentor to teach him,
or more editorial
direction or something. If you bring in somebody from outside the industry, you definitely need to, I think, give them pair them up with an established writer who can, or a strong editor, like you were saying, to help them.
I think that he would take I think that he would take Blade in a direction that Blade wouldn't go, just to make it his. You know what I mean? And then, but that. What's the Blade is a very this is Blade.
Yeah.
This is what Blade does. He kills vampires. He's half a vampire. He broods. He's got a sword. That's Blade. He don't need extra pouches. He don't need.
Maybe he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, Rob Liefeld should draw Blade.
I would read a Rob Liefeld. Yes, I 100% would. I'd point out all the missing feet, but I would totally read it. Yeah. But I don't think, Jordan Peele would get too weird and cerebral with it and try to make like some weird twists and turns, and I just don't think it would be good.
We'll agree to disagree.
We're gonna do that.
So we'll turn the page on that one. Let us know who you would put on for a Blade ongoing series if you were putting together the.
We'll give you more than 7 minutes notice to come up with it too.
Oh, they have to do it right now.
This second.
Yes.
It's unfair.
So let's move on to the next topic. Best Wednesday ever. It's your favorite. It's your favorite part of the show.
Is it? I feel like you tell me what my favorites are. I don't like that.
Well,
I don't like that.
it's my story.
It is your story.
So, what are you leading off with the best Wednesday ever, Chris?
I think we know what my best Wednesday ever is going to be.
What is it?
House of Slaughter.
So that brings me to mine. Horror comics are having the best Wednesday ever.
Yeah.
DC Vampires, Task Force Z, House of Slaughter, Winchester Mystery House, and the new Ghost Rider series that was just announced today or yesterday, one of the two. It says it's going to be like a heavy metal style horror series.
Echolands. We Don't Kill Spiders. Deadbox, which was terrible.
I'm still looking forward to reading that. You keep telling me it's terrible.
You know what? You can keep looking forward to reading it. I'll give you my copy back. Wow, what a bad book. Sorry, Scout Comics.
I'm still looking forward to reading it.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. No, there was a bunch of horror stuff that came out this week. Yeah, horror. Let's just say horror comics. But yeah, I mean, we all know that. Yeah, it was going to be House of Slaughter. It was for me. It was going to be House of Slaughter. Number
2 for the best Wednesday ever. Rose Besh is having the best Wednesday ever. She was already garnering a lot of attention for her stuff. The Wonder Woman, was it Black, White, and Gold? 1 in 25 cover, absolutely beautiful. Normally 1 in 25 sell for $25.
Can we not say what it sold for?
I wasn't going to say who bought it.
Can we just not say it? Because I don't want to talk about it.
It's selling for many multiples of the 25.
I don't want to talk about it. It's gorgeous, but I don't want to talk about it.
I think, I've told you before, I'm not as big on her art as other people.
She's kind of hit or miss, but when she hits, my goodness, she hits. And she hit on this one.
I like her stuff more than somebody else's art, I won't say, because I'm trying to make this more positive. But
it definitely, like, it pokes that, like, anime button for me. That manga button, but sometimes she gets a little weird and bubbly, a little too much. That isn't my particular cup of tea, but this one was like perfectly in the middle. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous cover, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, this one I liked a lot. Normally, I'm not a big fan of hers, but not that I don't hate her stuff like other other artists.
Let's just keep gushing on it so I can like justify it in my mind. Please.
Well, the colors really pop on that, but like,
they do.
Honestly,
it's gorgeous, 100%. That's why I had to have it, much to my wallet's chagrin. And the 10 House of Slaughter variants.
Jenny Frizen having the best Wednesday ever.
Ooh, she just came out with a print too, released a super limited print of her own work that was amazing. So there was a lot of good ones, a lot of best Wednesdays ever. Yeah.
You want to throw out another one?
I don't know.
There's a lot.
I'm still stuck on how
your House of Slaughter and
no,
Rose
it's just my wallet and how angry I am at myself. We all do it though. We all overspend sometimes.
All of the comic companies had the best Wednesday ever. Like I said, the last couple Wednesdays have been kind of light compared to
Ross Ritchie. I hope you like my hard-earned money because you got a bunch of it. You got a bunch of it today, damn it.
You got a lot of mine also.
Yeah, I got a lot of everybody's money.
I ordered a ton. That was one of the ones I had. I know I'm not the only retailer, I know, but
no, yeah. I mean, it was good for me because I got stuff that I wanted, but at the same time,
I will say I upped my orders to make sure you got the
variant covers that you wanted. And then you slipped that Rose Besh in there. I like that. That
you
was
told me you wanted the Rose.
I know. And then you were like, listen,
I sent you that picture like 3
listen,
weeks
player,
ago.
it's this much money, and I was like, but you showed it to me, and now I have to have it. So I had to part with a book today to make up some of the difference.
You did.
It's okay though. We all.
I almost forgot to deduct that from your.
I know. I was like, wow, okay, cool. And then you're like, oh no, wait a minute. And it's like, okay, that makes it, that hurts a little less. I'm having the best Wednesday ever.
You're having the best Wednesday ever?
Yeah.
Why are you having the best Wednesday ever?
Because I got a bunch of really good comics.
You did? You did.
And I just finished We Don't Kill Spiders 2, and it was amazing.
I want to read that one also.
People need to read that book. Super, super good. Super, super good. Yeah.
Trick or treat this weekend.
Trick or treating on this week, and it's Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm assuming most communities are going to do it on Saturday.
Probably, yeah. Halloween on a weekend is always a good thing.
We have some Halloween Fest stuff. I think it's Halloween Fest still. I don't remember what it's called, but the Marvel stuff that's coming out. And
is it still called Halloween Fest?
I think Diamond's not doing it this week or this year because of so I think they're naming it something else. It's because the Free Comic Book Day was so late in the year. I think they decided not to do Halloween Comic Fest as a general thing. But
well, then there was like Batman Day after Free Comic Book Day.
Well, also Wonder Woman Day.
Yeah. Which they all deserve days. I'm not gonna. Everybody deserves a day. Just maybe not so close together. You could stretch them out a little bit. See, the world's on fire. This Wednesday made the world on fire.
Piled all the horror stuff together.
We did pile all the horror stuff together. That B cover for DC vs. Zombies is pretty nice.
So, have you had a chance to look through DC Connect yet?
Not yet, no.
So DC Connect came out. Oh, we're going off topic, but whatever.
It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
Robin's #3. All you people who love Detective 880, I would highly recommend you order that book like ASAP.
Robin 3?
Robin's.
Robin's the new Robin, sir.
I'll show you when we get out there.
Okay.
You can put it up on the video and like.
I'm actually looking forward to that title. I think it's going to be cool.
I think that cover is going to be the equivalent of 880 and also Amazing Spider-Man 55.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a long-term hold that book. Speaking of investing, Chris, myself, and 2 other people who you have not met. Well, no, you guys have seen Jason on a video here and there. So one other person that has not been seen on our show before are going to do a show where each one of us get $500 fictional dollars, although you and Tim apparently wanted to do some legit.
Maybe, not after this week, maybe.
And we're going to do like our comic portfolio of what as we're trying to chase down like grails and stuff. So
also, I'm really bad at that. Let's just be 100%.
That's fine.
I'm really bad at like investing, and I just buy what I like.
You'll make people feel good about what they.
Yeah, totally. So like if you want to see like the honorable mentions of this just had a really neat cover, pay attention to what I do. But if you want to make money, don't, because you're gonna lose money.
Guaranteed.
Probably.
100%.
Probably 100%. Yeah.
I already have some ideas. I think I've told you a couple of them already.
Mm-hmm. No, I can't steal them, which is terrible.
So keep an eye out for that. We're hoping to film that. I don't think this one's this Saturday, but next Saturday. So cameraman, just a heads up for you also.
This is what you do, you know.
I forget things.
But you put it. You put all this stuff on us at the last second, you know.
I forget things,
you should
dude. I get like 3 hours of sleep. I take. Oh, I probably shouldn't show that. But
in case anyone missed it, it is just a board.
Scribbles.
It's just scribbles on a board.
No, there's a person's phone number.
We are very, very professional here. Our production value is good.
Yeah. I got some other things in the works also. I got ideas.
Always have ideas.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about pressing? Do you want to talk about the pressing matters?
We are doing pressing starting November 1st. We are only accepting 500 comics for November.
That sounds like a lot, but it's not a lot.
It is not.
No.
We may have added a couple presses this week.
Yeah.
We're going to add 2 more on Saturday.
Yep.
I am driving up to Langhorne, Pennsylvania, and then also
make my early Sunday morning worth something, people.
And then also to New Jersey after Langhorne to pick up a second press.
I am not going to New Jersey. I hate that state.
Shout out to everybody watching us in New Jersey.
Your state smells bad. I'm sorry.
Wow. I thought it was it the southern half or the northern half?
It's all New Jersey, man.
I've talked to people from New Jersey. I forget which one it is, but whatever one it is, like the other half is like, no, that's not me, man. That's the other half. And
it's like Long Island, New York City kind of thing. It's all the same.
Okay,
and all of it smells funny.
I like Atlantic City, so
I wasn't even a big fan of that.
I love Anyway, but we're only accepting 500
We
copies.
go off the rails so easily on this. 500 comics, yeah.
So it is $20 for anything from 1975 and later. It is $25 for anything 1974 and earlier, and for magazines it's $25 as well.
I know I just talked a bunch of trash about not grading books, but if you are going to grade your books, I recommend you press
for keys and stuff.
For keys and stuff, 100%.
And honestly, even stuff that's sentimental to you that you just want to preserve and hang up and everything.
Yeah, if you're going to slab something, I would say it is worth the time, effort, and the little amount of money to have it pressed and clean, because it's only going to benefit the book. It's going to get you a higher grade.
No, I think I've told you before. I'm primarily a reader, so if I wouldn't get things graded if I didn't own a store.
Sure. It's also not going to take your like 2.5 to like a 7 or something. You know, you're maybe going to get a half to a full grade bump at the most. But it does matter in terms of, you know, collectability. So if that's something you're into, I think you should do it. You guys have pressed a couple books for me, and they've all come out great.
And there's some people who don't even want them graded after they've been pressed and clean. They just want the...
I'm not going to slab mine.
Yeah, so.
Just going to keep them in their nice bags and boards. Just looking pretty.
So there is that. But yeah, the 500 is, it's, like you said, sounds like a lot. It actually is not. A lot of people bring in multiple books at one time when they submit. So you may want to get your books in early, and you can only drop them off at the Walkersville location, preferably while I'm here. So
you can also see the pressers do their thing. Too,
exactly, you can come in here
Yeah.
and see some of the work being done on the books. I feel like I'm forgetting to talk about something else now.
I don't know.
But that is our show.
Your notes are gone. You threw your notes away.
Yeah, I did a David Letterman.
Our cue cards are gone, so now we're just...
If anybody remembers David Letterman.
I don't.
Oh, you're a jerk.
Of course I remember David Letterman.
You do.
Of course I remember David Letterman.
This guy.
I do like the mustache, by the way. I know nobody can see this, but I am going to comment on this on camera. I like the mustache.
Thanks.
I think it's good. It's a nice look. It pulls it all together.
So we will end the show on
Let's
that.
just end it on that, man. We've gone completely off the rails. I love it.
Thank you for watching. Like I said, let us know what you think about who you would put on the Blade comic book if you were in charge of Marvel Comics. And thank you for watching.
Yell about Jordan Peele.
Who had the best Wednesday ever? Also, let us know.